Melbourne United are heading to the NBL finals after winning probably the best final series we've seen in a long time. This may have also been the best game of the NBL, like definitely this year, maybe last year, maybe in a long, long time. Even though it ended on a free throw and there was a controversial call at the end, it was still amazing. It was so fun to watch, so entertaining, so back and forth. Like everything that you want in an NBL game, it had up until like the final possession. I'm sorry, Perth fans, you did everything you could, but in the end, Melbourne used the exact same play they used against Sydney. They've used before. Like this is their go-to play, but it seems to work every single time. I mean, I guess that's why it's the go-to play. Chris Goulding hitting a backdoor cut. It somehow works so effectively because you just expect him to shoot the three, even though they needed to just get a single bucket, which is why you usually defend the rim. But they just let it open. They got the foul, and then they won by a free throw, which Chris Goulding did the smartest thing he could do, missing the second one, making sure, guaranteeing that they could not get a shot off. But this game as a whole was super entertaining. Like, Perth had that early lead. They were up by 14 at the end of the first quarter. It was super back and forth towards the end. And then as soon as Melbourne caught up, it was still back and forth. It wasn't just Melbourne overtook them like it was in game two and just didn't lose that lead. It was pretty much still back and forth. That Jesse Wagstaff three was absolutely phenomenal. Like, that was just turning back the clock. It was so frantic. I was jumping out of my seat. It was insane to watch. And let's also talk about the fact that this may have been the first game to have four players hit a 30-piece game. Ian Clark looked phenomenal. Like, turn back the clock. Chris Goulding. This team was aging, but they don't look like it. It was so fun to watch. Like, Ian Clark just hitting every shot. It felt like he couldn't miss. Chris Goulding started to hit it in the second half like he likes to do. He likes to play you in a bit of, sense of he's not going to be hitting his shots tonight, and then he just gets his groove, and then he just does not miss. Also, shout out Christian Doolittle, Bryce Cotton. Christian Doolittle did everything he could. He definitely increased his bag this offseason. He looks like he's going to be returning to the Wildcats. I hope he does. He is just getting better and better every year. Like, he's definitely going to be an all NBL first team conversations next year if he continues this play. The other big question is this Bryce's last game? I hope not. There was conversations like between Chris Goulding and Bryce Cotton, and people were swearing that they heard Bryce saying that he'll be back, but you don't know until the off season fully begins and free agency hits. Like, he is officially a free agent right now, but is he really going to leave Perth? I'm starting to lean towards he's sticking around now. Like, I just feel like he's set and they're on the path to get into like that final series that they want to get back to. But again, Melbourne looked like the best team throughout the entire series, so it does make sense that they did get the win. They did look very good for like the most part. They had a bit of a rough first quarter, and then they just bounced back and they just coached themselves back into what they need to do, which is just what you expect from Melbourne at this point. And yes, they did miss that goaltending by Marcus Lee. I don't think that's